So my old shelving unit has gone. I need something bigger, better, sturdier, and something that fits my bizarre room layout a little bit better. So I'm going to attempt to build something today that's a weird shape, which will involve lots of angles, and I'm not very good at woodwork. How hard could it be?
That looks terrible.
4 hours we've done nothing.
4 hours of nothing, and by the time I do something, it goes wrong.
Splitting it even more. Why is it just spinning? I'm losing all grip on the thing as well.
One fresh bit of wood later,
Didn't split that time. Now I drilled a pilot hole. That looks terrible. My cable tray.
So I want some kind of marvellous, massive shelf thing. It kind of needs to be a lot of things incorporated into one. It kind of becomes a headboard for my bed because my room's weird, as well as a sort of partition wall, of which it has switches and a fuse board stored in it, as well as having tons of shelf space to store a few big items and a lot of other stuff that I have. So in terms of my headboard, I'd quite like to have a cubby hole to have some bits and bobs like a bedside table. Be quite nice to have a reading lamp on it as well, perhaps. I've got to incorporate the switches. I've got an 8-gang grid switch that controls the majority of the lights in my bedroom. I sort of need this to be back on it. It's really handy if I want to turn lights on and off when I'm in bed. Yes, I'm that lazy. I have some very large items to store on this too, so it needs to be pretty sturdy and well built. Along with this, I need a hanger rail to hang my jackets and coats, and I'm hoping to have a lot of storage left over for all the stuff I've accumulated over the years. The other hope is to build it all the way up to the ceiling, so I'll end up getting a lot of flat board space to display my collectibles as well. To maximise the full amount of space I can get out of this, I've made it a sort of half square shape. There's a diagonal cut across one of the corners to allow extra room for me to get into the cupboard. But yeah, I've sort of built it as large as I can for the space that I have. While this has made the room feel a little bit weird and the layout a bit strange, I feel like it's going to be really useful for the amount of storage I'm going to get out of it. Overall, the build is quite simple. I'm just going to have 5 upright pieces of 2x1 batten, screwing them into the wall and ceiling here and there just to provide a bit of stability. I'm then going to put the shelves on and board all around it. It should be pretty strong and, for the most part, freestanding. Random jump cut to him actually talking. Been listening to the old Hastings Rock on the old online and that. So most of this has just been like B-roll footage and me voicing over. Excuse the random bed cover. I borrowed my younger brother's bed cover because mine are all dirty. And now I've covered this one in sawdust. Excellent. And I'm soldering on it because that's safe. Yeah, so currently this is where we sort of stand. I've built this crude boxing. Say crude because I've had to fill up places. I can't cut square apparently. I seem to suck at doing that. Everything sort of dropped there, but I mean this is all built up. Seems pretty cool. It's pretty solid now actually. So yeah, there's the back of that crude boxing. Down here I've got some shelves. I've got a little cubby hole down in there. Shelf for the black box there, and of course down under there I've got more space for storage and I can shove stuff under the bed if I need to. Put this rod in here as like a coat hanger, so I could actually put a couple of coats or jumpers in here as well. Just trying to make best use of all this space really. So yeah, I'm doing it out of these thin pieces as I have absolutely loads of them. The builder from another job kindly let me have these as he was just going to get rid of them. I was going to use them to build a shelf in the van, which I did, and I still have absolutely loads left over, so I decided I'll just use them here. Just means I can use these, use up these 3 bits of wood really, and keep my expensive plyboards spare for other things. So yeah, there's that. I'm going to put a little shelf in here, I guess. A little thin one there. Currently working on a light for in there, and there's a box or a switch that I've put in. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and it'd be nice to have a little cubby hole behind my bed. So that's a quick little update of where we're at. I've been filming a lot less recently just because of time and all that. Plus, I don't want this video to be too long. Hello, another jump to an update that isn't a voiceover. So, yeah, as you can see, I've already been stuffing the shelves full of bits and pieces because I have no idea where to put half this stuff. Yeah, I had to do the monthly haul, so everything had to come off of that desk there. But anyway, this has been taking forever. Still got the cubby hole, that's done. I've tried to board this up. I've had to pack out this, and yeah, so I have to do a lot of filling and bits and painting. Silly old me decided to, I don't know what I was thinking. I thought, oh, that's great, I'll put that up in there, grab that cable tray and fix that nicely, and then I'll put this up against the cable tray. They don't line up, they're not perfect. And here you can see the difference. Yeah, so I put this board in. I've had to pack it out here as well. So same again on that side as two boards. This is slightly thinner board that I'd left over from the unit that was here before. Oh god, and then of course there's this massive gap left in there, so I've had to fill that in. I really hope I don't have that problem with every shelf beyond that. But yeah, a bit of decorator's cork and all that should be okay once it's painted. There's a bit of a gap down here, but I want a bit of a gap down there. I don't want it right up against the bed, because then the bed's stuck in position and it'd probably just squeak and creak as it rubs up and down against it. Not that this bed gets a whole lot of up and down action. Anyway, that's besides the point. This shelf up here I've been stuck on for a while now, because obviously we've got this little ledge here, which I think is quite neat. Once it's all painted, it'll look quite cool. Be good for little things. I mean, I have a plethora of issues and problems, so things like my eye drops and my lung relievers, etc, would go in there, which is quite useful in a way. Or even more to the point, oh yeah, we could display the old Hot Wheels in there, boys. Look at that. But I'm not fully sure what I'm doing with that yet. It's there and it's useful, so I don't know whether to do that again here, although this bit is a thinner piece. It still fits some cars. I've even debated whether to put a big ledge out so I can have a shelf, but the idea of having a shelf above my head when I'm sleeping, I mean, it's unlikely something would fall on my head, but it's possible. So yeah, I've sort of done most of this shelf here, but because of that, I don't know what to do yet. I want it to be part of that base, so obviously any shelf out here can be like a floating shelf that's completely, well, completely floating, but obviously strong because it's part of the base of that shelf. Yeah, so it's been fun. It's taking me days and days and days because of all these tiny little pieces I've had to try and trim in there. I am not good at woodwork at all, well, I don't have to say that. I mean, anyone watching can see that. I am terrible with woodwork. And yeah, it's taken me forever because of that. So I put this board on here, mainly so I can see where that lines up with that. I'm actually wondering if I have to put a socket down there for like a hoover or something. I've still actually got the cables just rolled up down there. I don't actually know where to bring them. I do know I need a socket up here somewhere for that, as well as the hopeful paint booth. I've got to figure out what I'm doing with these switches. I don't know if to just screw them back on here or mount them flush. I mean, I could just screw them on in here so they look flush-ish. I don't know. It would be nice if they were flush, I suppose. I mean, I was even thinking some of this LED strip stuff is actually about the right width. It's close. It's not perfect. But if I cut that a bit more square, that would actually sort of match. So it could go over there and end at another piece of wood perhaps on that end and look even. Then I've got like a bed light that can blind me when I'm in bed. I don't know. And that's now in this video. for everyone to go, why the hell did you leave this in the video? It's boring. And it's not like anyone can answer me with any ideas, because by the time they see this, this will be done. It'll probably be years after it's been done, because I take forever to edit. Well, it looks like I got inspiration from my 2012 Minecraft buildings, because yeah, Jesus Christ, it literally looks like one of the old tower buildings that I built in Minecraft when I was a kid. Kind of regretting what I've done there, quite badly. Yeah, hopefully it looks good with some things on display on it. Obviously those wires I'll tie up around the back, they won't be there. The cooler needs that exit hole, and I needed them switches. But God, that's pretty foul. And keen-eyed people may notice this. This is not a flush box, but I have flushed it, so it may look a little bit weird because the cover, or the front plate, won't actually cover these corners, so there'll be a little bit of a corner showing in each thing. Maybe a bit of filler will sort that. Yeah, laziness mainly, and I haven't actually really got the money right now to buy the back plate and the front plate that would be flush mounted. But it is mainly laziness, even though it's probably harder to cut this right. Anyway, I can probably fit one in there at a later date. The hole's there, so that's fine. If it looks terrible, I can change that later on. It'll be the same, pretty much the same, so the back box will be the same size. Front plate slightly bigger. But yeah, I didn't really feel like rewiring all of them, which I would have had to have done. Sometimes these ideas are much better in my head. And a very sudden jump cut to the entire thing being painted. Well, there's a few gaps here and there, and I do need to do a bit of making good. I had a few accidents in places, but yeah, it's probably going to want a second coat anyway. So yeah, I mean, I could have filmed maybe a time lapse of me painting this, it would have been cool, but honestly, there's so much footage to go through. I think it's just quicker just to cut to each stage. I went bold again, and I decided to do the blue on the insides. So I thought it would be quite a nice touch to add to this. I mean, it definitely stands out, I suppose. Hopefully it'll dry reasonably nice, because I'm actually getting a bit low on this tan paint now. I mean, there are definitely imperfections. Definitely imperfections. When you stand back though, you know, 50 yard, I mean, when you stand back you don't notice them. I guess I could go for the rustic look. I don't know, basically it just looks shit, but now it's painted it looks a bit better. Being honest though, that's probably as best I was going to get it. I've been using some cheap decorators cork. I was using that because it's flexible, because I feel like this is all going to move slightly, especially being wood, so I wanted something slightly flexible to fill it in with, but that stuff's not very easy. You can't sand it down once you've done it, so it's been quite hard to get it on, and you can see where each layer is sort of the cork has been put, and a couple of areas I should have cleaned up a bit better, but I say it's almost impossible to sand it off. You've got to sit there kind of picking at it. If you try and sand it, it will just clumps up into balls and kind of really doesn't work. I could have spent hours or days filling this with wood filler and sanding it all down, but I don't think it was worth it, and it's still a heap load better than what was there previously. Stay tuned, because the next video in the bedroom rebuild series is the reason that I started this entire DIY special build. I've got to tackle making a recording desk for my Dendo Diecast channel. This has to be much more versatile than the previous one, and preferably not make a load of creaking sounds, as well as cramming my entire wardrobe into it, because, well, I took that out in a previous video. As I've been saying a lot lately, how hard can it be?